Now the thing is, somewhere after this, when some excerpts must have appeared in the media, the Ministry of Defense or the PMO, someone has decided to redact this entire book and put pressure on the government, on publishers to pull it back, to withdraw it. Now, even if the book, and by the way, at the same time, they also send it out to retail. They send it out to distributors. Sorry, distributors then send it out to retailers. So now, in this case, they must have remaindered the books from the distributors. But if you send it out to the media and experts, there are a few hundred copies already lying around in the country. The opposition has got got a hold of this book either from the media or from the influencers or someone else. Once they have this copy, the fact of the matter is they are bound to discuss it, because the issues that this book, The 4 Stars of Destiny, talks about, it is clearly related to the national security. It relates to the in Chinese egress into India. So they are bound to. It is due. They are morally and legally, constitutionally bound to actually raise these issues on the floor of the House. So now the point is, even if this book is officially not published, and Penguin is technically right that they have not published it, but unofficially the manuscript is across the country, left, right, and center. I know I was in the Maharashtra polls right now. I was campaigning in the municipal and the Zilla Panchayat polls. There are journalists there are journalists with 5,000. Just imagine, there are journalists with 5,000 followers. They're going through the book and they're asking questions on this. The ordinary people are discussing this on the ground, that the government is covering something up, and they're sort of putting pressure on the former chief of army staff. No matter what the government spins this at, people are seeing this as the government trying to cover up a grave national security failure, at least in Maharashtra, wherever I have toured.
This is clearly a case of bolting the stable door after the horse has skipped. And somebody in the government got alerted when excerpts of this book began appearing in various newspapers. And then the government immediately stopped the publication. That I will not be the first to fire. If I am not going to be the first to fire, then I want to know, Mr. Prime Minister, what shall I do now? Chinese tanks are coming up the Kailash Ridge. There are 500 meters away. I need your permission. Because you have told me, or somebody has told me, that I will not be the first to fire because I don't want to start the war. So I think this remark about जो आप उचित समझो वैसे करो was, I think he calls this, I was handed a hot potato, or he uses that word.
Are you going to crack down like some Nazi party across the entire length and breadth of India just to figure out which copy actually was sent from them to the opposition? That's one part of it. Why is the government, why is the Prime Minister running away from a debate? What is there to be so afraid of? I mean, I remember in the 1962 war, the Prime Minister Nehru had a huge debate in the floor of the House. It was a secret session, no doubt, but he actually spoke, and there is a record. He asked the speaker that, will you please allocate more time to the opposition, because we need to learn.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Now, a political storm has erupted in Delhi over General Naravane's book, and especially now after when the Delhi Police Special Cell has registered an FIR over the alleged circulation of an unauthorized version of General Naravane's memoir. Now, Penguin Random House India has issued a firm clarification. The book has not been published in any form. It's that what they are saying. And the publisher has stepped in amid growing controversy surrounding Naravane's memoir, 4 Stars of Destiny, which is yet to receive the mandatory clearance from authorities. Now, what does the official statement say? In an official statement, Penguin Random House India says that it holds the sole publishing rights to the memoir but has not released it in print or digital format. Then they go to say, and I'm going to quote them again, we wish to make it clear that the book has not gone into publication. No copies of the book in print or digital form have been published, distributed, sold, or otherwise made available to the public by Penguin Random House India. Now, the publisher warned that any version currently circulating, whether in print, PDF, or digital format, amounts to copyright infringement and must be halted immediately. So, this controversy around Naravane's book has got deepened, and this is a little guide which has a quick guide to how Penguin publishes the books in various stages. One is, of course, the book announced. The publisher has shared that a book is planned. It is not yet published or available for sale. Then the second one is the book available for pre-order. Pre-order is a standard publishing practice. It allows readers and retailers to place advance orders. The book is not yet published or available. Third category is the book scheduled for a future date. A scheduled publication date means the book is planned for release. It does not mean that the book has been published. And the next category is the published book. A book is published only when it is available at a retail channel for purchase. And we remain committed to clarity and transparency in the book we publish. Now, what is the reason why this controversy is deepening? Now, there is an old tweet of General Naravane, which I would like to show you. And also along with that, the picture which is tagged along with the tweet. Now, look at this very carefully. This is General Naravane's tweet, which is dated 15th of December 2023. This has gone viral. And this quote, this tweet was quoted by Rahul Gandhi today in Parliament, not outside the Parliament, while he was speaking to the reporters. And he was asked that who is lying, General Naravane or the Penguin. So he said that I believe the General Naravane is not lying, but there is some pressure on the Penguin. Now, this is old tweet of General Naravane, which says, hello friends, my book is available now. Just follow the link. Happy reading. Jai Hind. And if you look at this picture, which is tagged along with Naravane's tweet of Penguin India, Penguin India says, as we gear up for Vijay Divas, let's take a moment to celebrate the heroes of our country, starting with Manoj Naravane, the 28th Chief of Army Staff who fought for India for decades. To know the story, pre-order 4 Stars of Destiny, and then the Amazon link is pasted on this tweet of Public India. The picture is of Public India. The thing has been retweeted by Manoj Naravane. Now, what does this controversy go to show? Now, is there pressure on the Penguin publishers? Is the Delhi police really crossing its line when it lodges an FIR against the publisher, saying that how on earth can they leak the book when they didn't get a clearance from the Ministry of Defense? So it's like a copyright versus coercion. So we'll try and discuss this today. Joining me this evening is retired General Ashok Mehta. Thank you, sir, so much for joining. And we also have author and policy expert Pushparaj Deshpande. And Pushparaj has been working with Penguin. He's published a lot of books with Penguin. Thank you so much, Pushparaj, for joining. And I'll begin with Pushparaj. How do you see this controversy? And this controversy has landed Penguin in a very tight spot. Now, what do? How do they get out of this mess? And the biggest question is that they could have capitalized on a situation like this, but they are not doing that.
Hello, Neelu ji, Lieutenant General Mehta, and of course our viewers. See, when a manuscript is submitted, in this case, the General Naravane is the Chief of Army Staff's book. Typically, from the date of publication, date of submission of the manuscript till publication, there's about 8 to 10 months that typically goes. The publisher will immediately start doing copy edits, legal edits. They will go through multiple compliances. They'll ask the author, in this case, the former Chief of Army Staff, that have you got the necessary clearances? Can we actually quote this? All of this is standard operating procedure for a publishing house to talk to its authors. And the the legal vetting is very rigorous, because especially in this political climate where things are actually vitiated and vilified, what happens is that publishers are being extra careful, especially a giant publishing house like Penguin. They have lawyers, a sort of an array of lawyers who are actually doing multiple aspects. Some of them will look at the intellectual property rights, some of them will do fact checking, some of them will do copyright issues. They will talk about, whether everything is kosher or not. Once this process is completed, it takes about 8 to 10 months. Then a manuscript is given back to the general, to the author, to say that please circulate it back to whoever you need to get the necessary permissions. Once that process is completed and they have something in written that yes, this permission has been granted, then and then alone will the publisher put this as a manuscript for circulation. It's called the pre-copy circulation, and it is very clear. It says copyright protected, not for publication, not for circulation. All of this is watermarked on the book, on the manuscript. Then those copies are sent out to the media along with some printed copies. About 100 200 copies are sent out either to media or influencers to pick up some excerpts and start putting it out. This process has clearly been followed. Otherwise, a publishing house will not get into this. They will not risk their reputation and a huge lawsuit, or financial liabilities or legal liabilities, without all these due diligences being ticked off. So once and only when this is done do they send it out to the media and influencers. Now the thing is, somewhere after this, when some excerpts must have appeared in the media, the Ministry of Defense or the PMO, someone has decided to redact this entire book and put pressure on the government, on publishers, to pull it back, to withdraw it. Now, even if the book, and by the way, at the same time, they also send it out to retail. They send it out to distributors. Sorry, distributors then send it out to retailers. So now, in this case, they must have remaindered the books from the distributors. But if you send it out to the media and experts, there are a few hundred copies already lying around in the country. Now, it is easy for the opposition or anyone else to get a hand of this and pass it on. So this is the legal process, and I don't think Penguin could have done anything more than what they have done to actually stop this. That is the first part of it. And frankly speaking, I understand how difficult the Penguin situation would be, because they must be in a very difficult bind at this juncture. That's the first part. The second part, the opposition has got got a hold of this book either from the media or from the influencers or someone else. Once they have this copy, the fact of the matter is they are bound to discuss it, because the issues that this book, The 4 Stars of Destiny, talks about, it is clearly related to the national security. It relates to the in Chinese egress into India. So they are bound to. It is due. They are morally and legally, constitutionally bound to actually raise these issues on the floor of the House. Now, there are precedents. In 1962, when there was a war, there are precedents where you don't discuss in the full parliament in a public session. You can also have a secret session. That also could have been negotiated with the leader of opposition and the other party, floor leaders of the other various parties. The government clearly does not want to be doing that. Now, there is something that is fishy here, right? Clearly, this is a huge problem. They're trying to, the only thing they've done is basically raise suspicions in everyone's eyes and minds that there is something fishy that they're trying to obfuscate and cover up. Now, what kind of cover up is they are doing, only they know. That is the second part of it. And the third part of it, this book has done far better than any other book, or including this book would have done, if this censorship wouldn't have been imposed on the book by the government. So now the point is, even if this book is officially not published, and Penguin is technically right that they have not published it, but unofficially the manuscript is across the country, left, right, and center. I know I was in the Maharashtra polls right now. I was campaigning in the municipal and the Zilla Panchayat polls. There are journalists there are journalists with 5,000. Just imagine, there are journalists with 5,000 followers. They're going through the book and they're asking questions on this. The ordinary people are discussing this on the ground, that the government is covering something up, and they're sort of putting pressure on the former chief of army staff. No matter what the government spins this at, people are seeing this as the government trying to cover up a grave national security failure, at least in Maharashtra, wherever I have told. And furthermore, they're also looking at this as an attack on the freedom of the armed forces. Yes, they have some due diligences, they have some compliances that they have to take care of. The Lieutenant General Mehta would, of course, be much more prescient about that when he'll brief us. But the fact is, I don't think a former chief of army staff would not have done his due diligence before he goes there. This is an attack by the government on the freedom of the army as well.
Right. That's an important point, that it's an attack on the freedom of the army as well. Now, do you think that General Naravane would not have understood, General Mehta, that an MOD clearance is required, or do the armed forces people, do they need the clearance from the MOD for writing a book once they've retired?
No, it's inconceivable that General Naravane won't know the rules of the game. After all, he'd been in the army for 40 years. And as a former soldier, I know that if you write an article, if you in a magazine, if you want something published in a newspaper, if you want to go abroad, if you want to marry a foreign national, the armed forces are bound by rules and restrictions, and especially freedom of expression. Now, that is understandable to an extent. But when you talk about a former army chief who was retired and who has advanced copies of the book published by the publishers but not officially released, there is no way that Naravane could have forwarded this book to the publisher without due diligence and getting all the clearances that were required. So, all that having been done, this is clearly a case of bolting the stable door after the horse has skipped. And somebody in the government got alerted when excerpts of this book began appearing in various newspapers. And then the government immediately stopped the publication. And since then, you hadn't heard about this book. Subsequently, after 2 years, Sushant Singh, he's a former army officer, writes an article in the Caravan magazine, and he has put all that together of what Naravane has written about the line of actual control, about Galwan, and about this one brilliant operation that was carried out by the Indian Army called Operation Snow Leopard in August of 2020. And this particular controversy and this offending remark about the army chief going back to the defense minister and various people was on the night of 31st August, where clearly, and this bit we are not sure what happened, he is asking for permission to fire. Now, you can turn around and say that why is the army chief wanting permission to fire? Yes, he is asking permission to fire because somewhere he is being told, because he quotes this in his book, that I will not be the first to fire. If I am not going to be the first to fire, then I want to know, Mr. Prime Minister, what shall I do now? Chinese tanks are coming up the Kailash Ridge. There are 500 meters away. I need your permission because you have told me, or somebody has told me, that I will not be the first to fire because I don't want to start the war. So I think this remark about जो आप उचित समझो वैसे करो was what I think he calls this I was handed a hot potato, or he uses that word. And after that the situation kind of diffused. But the fact is that the government abrogated its responsibility of giving full directions before any operation is launched in a disputed area, as was the case in 2020. The government has to give an operational directive. This was a special operation being launched, and it was no way that this operation could have been launched without clearance by the government.
Right.
And in
No, but
that clearance, apparently the government
yeah, yeah.
said,
Go
you
ahead.
should not be the first to fire, do the operation.
Right. No,
So,
but Pushpa,
so, so
the
this
question.
is where,
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead. Complete your point, sir.
no,
Complete your point.
no, I finished that. There are many other things that come up because the follow-up actions that were taken and what mistakes the government made. The release of this book will open a hornet's nest. It's a can of
No, it does.
worms
It does.
because
But
it will show the government in bad light.
yeah, absolutely. That's very clear. But Pushparaj, now there's a this entire controversy about how did Rahul Gandhi manage to lay his hands on a preprint. That's also being discussed widely in the political circles. This is what BJP leaders are talking about. Now, look at this. How did he get a preprint copy and he's flashing it in parliament? If those were just excerpts which were sent online, maybe in PDF versions, or maybe certain portions were published in Caravan. But this preprint copy, which is in the hands of Rahul Gandhi, how does this become a controversy?
Again, to reiterate, Neeluji, these publishers, all publishers, sent out pre-retail copies to various influencers, media persons, as well as distributors, to
Okay.
basically one half to basically create some buzz. I'm so sorry, to create some buzz, and the other half to actually start putting out excerpts in their respective outlets, print or electronic, right? And then distributors have them. Now there could be multiple places where someone could have given it to the opposition parties, the India parties. It could have been any of the media houses, it could have been any of the distributors, it could have been any of the influencers, it could even have been anyone from the MOD. How do you know? And the fact of the matter is, what is the government now going to do? Is it going to troll across the government in the entire MOD? Is it going to haul up every media journalist who this book was sent to? Is it going to pull up every influencer? Is it going to pull up every distributor? Are you going to crack down like some Nazi party across the entire length and breadth of India just to figure out who is which copy actually was sent from them to the opposition? That's one part of it. The second thing, they have slapped the Official Secrets Act. Fair enough. Are they prepared to indict and prosecute the former chief of army staff on this particular matter? Are they really willing to go that far? That is the second point. And the third thing, what is all of this in aid of? Just to obfuscate some facts that the general has put out. I mean, clearly, if you are a government that is genuinely committed to Rashtriya Suraksha, national security, who is genuinely committed to making India Viksit and Atmanirbhar. Viksit and Atmanirbhar also means in military terms. Wouldn't you want to have a constructive, substantive debate on national security lapses, on strategic failures and potential outcomes, strategic outcomes that need to be discussed threadbare so that you are able to actually do what's best for India? Is that not the job, the principal job of the government of India? Or is its job to protect its incompetence, its failures, and obfuscate any discussion on that? People of India
Right.
have to figure out. People of India
No,
really need to think about this.
of course,
This
of
is
course.
from
But
a
what
this
is
is from a
publishing?
sorry, 1 minute. This is from a prime minister who didn't just claim that he welcomes criticism because it helps in governance. This is also from a prime minister who claims that 56 inch chati hai, jo laal aankh dikhaunga, and so on and so forth. Why is the government, why is the prime minister running away from a debate? What is there to be so afraid of? I mean, I
Right.
remember in the 1962 war, the Prime Minister Nehru had a huge debate in the floor of the House. It was a secret session, no doubt, but he actually spoke, and there is a record. Asked the speaker that, will you please allocate more time to the opposition, because we need to learn, we need to understand where we have failed, something that we don't know. Let us know
Right.
what we could have done. Maybe they are seeing something that we are not able to see because we are in this box.
Right.
And mind you, this government actually does not have any bench strength or institutional memory. Where is the bench strength? In the Congress party, which is governed, which has gone through this, which is course corrected, which has actually been able to have a proper constructive relationship with the army. That
Right.
is where you need to be looking at them for.
Pushparaj, I have another question, and then I'll go to General Mehta. That it's very clear that the government doesn't want people to know about the reality of the Galwan clashes and whatever has been mentioned in Naravane's book. But coming to the position of General Naravane per se as an author, uh, and also the publisher, what is the kind of situation for both of them? Would you sympathize with the Penguin publishers? People are angry also that why are they not taking a stand? There's a I mean people on the social media are talking about, and it's polarized. Then what does Penguin do, and what are the options now for General Naravane? And I'll ask this question to General Mehta also later, but I want your views on this. Yes.
Look, Penguin is a penguin. It's not a linked body that, Penguin UK or US is connected to Penguin India. I mean, yes, they are in name, but it's like a franchisee model, right? It's like McDonald's. One outlet might technically be connected to the outlet, but they're separate entities. Now, Penguin India has Penguin Random House India also is a subset of this, and that's where the book has been published from. It does, I think, about 200, 250 copies every year in English. I'm not talking about the fiction or in Hindi or in other Indian languages. Now, are you going? Clearly, there is some punitive action that has been threatened by the government of India. Is Penguin India going to drop the potential sales and credibilities of 250 odd authors, just non-fiction, just because of one book? So obviously they are calculating that this is going to really hit them hard, and so they are trying to do their level best to ensure that there is no kind of prosecutorial punitive action from the government of India. So I understand what Penguin is doing. I don't condone it, but I understand what is happening. But the fact of the matter is, why is the government feeling the need to suppress publishing houses? You do remember that the government, not the government, sorry, the RSS Sarsanchalak had called all publishing houses together in a meeting to tell them what they can and cannot publish. You've already started that informal pressure. This is evidence of formal pressure. Then Lieutenant General Mehta spoke about in another panel. He spoke about how another former Chief of Army Staff, General Vij, his book was also stopped, halted. So this kind of attitude by this government of India, any government, whether it's Congress, BJP, if you're going to suppress writing unless it's factually wrong, or unless it's sort of defamatory, unless it's sort of inciting violence or seditious, keep those aside. But if it is just hard, objective truth, no government has any business in banning it.
All right. Now, General Mehta, what would you say to this controversy now? What are the options left with General Naravane? He has, as an author, as an individual, of course, he's been a former army chief. But apart from that, what can he do individually at the individual level? Now, he's tied up because he's already signed a contract with the Penguin. Penguin is also in a soup. Does that also put General Naravane, also in a further soup? Now, what does he do, and what are the options which he can exercise?
So the first question is that how did Penguin and Random House, such a big publishing giant, go through this process of publishing advanced copies without getting adequate clearance? I mean, did it, and this question Pushparaj can answer, that how is it that they published even the advanced copies and excerpts were given by PTI if, as the government will claim, it had not cleared the book? And that is why I feel, and there's another person involved in this, which is the Chief of Army Staff. Chief of Army Staff knows the rules. I mean, he's been in the army for long enough to know that he can't get a book published which deals with military service without getting clearance. So I cannot imagine that he would have not, he would have sent his manuscript to the publishers to get it cleared. So are the publishers required to get it cleared in the case of government servants? Because there are now new rules after this gentleman
So, General
from
Mehta, are you also aware of any such rule that if supposing an armed forces personnel needs to write a book on his or her experiences, do they need to get a clearance? In your
absolutely,
time, was there a rule like
absolutely,
this?
absolutely, the book has to be cleared, um, even if you write an ordinary article. And
All right.
but in this case, he's written a comprehensive book, and apparently, because former raw chief Dulat has written a number of books about he's a raw chief, and it's about deals with his term as the raw chief in Kashmir and dealing with Kashmir, and now the government has issued new rules that people who have served now, meaning recently after Naravane and Dulat's book, that government servants who have served the government will need to get government clearance. And they have now threatened them that their pension can be withheld and various other punishments. So that's the first modular question, that how the hell did this book get into what form of print? And the second question is that the government is in a bind. The government is in a bind because if this book is released, and the speaker in the Lok Sabha has said this book has not been published, and so he's drawing the line at being published, and therefore not allowing the leader of the opposition to quote from an officially unpublished book, but otherwise without advanced copies. So there
Right.
is the problem.
Right.
So I think, but the bottom line is, it will not let this book see the light of day. It will not permit any debate, which it has not permitted since 2020 on the line of actual control, on the pretext that it will undermine the morale of soldiers and undermine our national security.
All right. So I'll take the concluding comments from Pushparaj that now, if you look at this entire controversy in totality, it looks like a curb on the freedom of expression. How the government handles the situation when it comes to retired army personnel or someone like General Naravane, and if he's written a book, if it doesn't show the government in good light, they can go to any level. And now that Delhi Police Special Cell has lodged an FIR, do you think that a situation can snowball to a level where they might end up arresting General Naravane, or they might arrest the publisher? We do not know, because to what extent the government can go. I mean, what is that one extreme step as an author? What would you preempt? That the government could go to any level now?
Neeluji, only Big Brother knows what Big Brother will do. So we don't know what the Prime Minister and the Home Minister, in this case the Defense Minister, will silently and tacitly agree. But I don't know what the Home Minister and the Prime Minister will do. None of us know. But it would be politically exceptionally myopic for them to actually indict or prosecute a former Chief of Army Staff. The kind of damage it would do to civil military relations would far outlast this government's tenure, which is just 3 more years. That's one thing. The second thing which I wanted to actually point out is that this government has had a string of national security failures in the last 11 years, whether it was Pathankot, whether it was Pulwama, whether it was Galwan, whether it was Doklam, whether it was the China's ingress in Ladakh, Arunachal Pradesh. They built some villages on the our side of the border. Also Bhutan. I mean, I believe China has also captured land in Bhutan, which severely compromises our flank on that end. So there are a number of national security failures. And of course, this entire claim by President Trump, I think he made it 87 times or 88 times, that he mediated in negotiating a ceasefire between India and Pakistan, which actually does cross a Lakshman Rekha for us, because we don't tolerate interference in bilateral or even, for that matter, multilateral affairs. So there have been a string of geopolitical strategic failures by this government. And frankly speaking, I think the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, is completely in his right, his privilege and his right, parliamentary right, to ask for a debate on national security. In the national interest, what I'm saying is that we need to have a debate, given the failures that they have overseen. I mean, can you imagine that Prime Minister Modi went to wish Nawaz Sharif on an unannounced trip to wish him on his birthday, and just the next few week or something, there was a major attack in Pathankot, our Air Force base. Then after that, what the former governor, the late Satyapal Malik, what he said about what happened in Pulwama, I don't want to repeat that.
Yes.
But the kind of allegations he made are huge. And now what General Naravane is saying in his book, 4 Stars of Destiny, see, these are major security failures, and a government that prides itself on being tough on terror or being strong on national security needs to live up to its to its jumla. Otherwise, you're just all gas and no action.
Absolutely. So we'll have to wait and watch how this could obviously
Sorry,
unfold.
and
Sorry. Yes.
curbing the voices of citizens, conscientious patriots who are trying to raise critical issues in the national interest. That is not the way a government of, for, and by the people should be conducted itself. I'm sorry. This is a government that is only interested in protecting its image. And there is something very rotten in the way they're conducting themselves.
Right. All right. So thank you so much, Jeremy Mehta, Pushparaj. Thank you very much for joining on HW. Thank you.